Brass balls. It's not a disease as it may first sound, but instead, the name of one of BioShock's most difficult achievements to beat BioShock on hard mode without a Vita chamber. A Vita chamber is a mechanic within BioShock that kind of acts as a respawn point. And if you disable it, then you have no respawn point. However, instead, you respawn at your last save, which may not sound that bad on the surface, but when you consider the fact that Vita chambers have more benefit than just respawn, it begins to change the context. You see, let's say that you're fighting a Big Daddy, and if you were to get it down to half health and then die to the Big Daddy, you'll respawn in the Vita chamber, but the Big Daddy will remain at half health. So then you can go and continue your fight, killing the Big Daddy. However, if you were to die to a Big Daddy at half health without a Vita chamber, you would lose 30 minutes of progress because you forgot to save for a long time. This challenge seems really difficult, especially since hard mode is the most difficult setting on BioShock. However, that's not actually true. You see, there's actually a secret difficulty setting unlocked after you beat hard mode for the first time called Survivor. And along with it, there's two new achievements. A man chooses, and I chose the impossible. One is to defeat the game on Survivor mode, whilst the other is to defeat the game on Survivor mode without a Vita chamber. Recently, I beat the game on hard mode without a Vita chamber, and I had learned several things and got several new ideas. As a result, I decided I was going to see how quickly I could beat the game on Survivor difficulty with no Vita chambers. And this is my experience of doing that. By the way, did you know that this is actually my second channel? If you're interested in more similar longer form videos, then check out my main channel, graysongokrazy. So we decided to load into a game on the new difficulty, Survivor mode, without a Vita chamber. We load in and we talk about how special we are, survive a plane crash, go into an ominous tower, and enter the ball. Inside, we're introduced to the founder of the city, and he's talking about how he built it and his hatred for parasites. Then we finally arrive into Rapture, the most beautifully hideous place on Earth. This guy Atlas saves us from a potentially bad relationship with a crazy girl. Shout out to our wingman. We grab our wrench and engage in some combat. Exhilarating. Then grab Electrobolt. We owe Atlas for being a good bro, and now we have to save his family. Seems like a little unbalanced, but okay, that's fine. We get a gun, kill some fellas, and try to go to Neptune's bounty, but he gets blocked. Then we go to medical because there's another way through there. Andrew gives us a stern talking to, but we ignore him and go to medical anyway. This section only took us 10 minutes and 42 seconds. Entering the medical pavilion, you may notice something interesting. We have some big guns now. It turns out in New Game Plus, you get all your weapons, ammo, genes, tonics, and plasmids. Don't worry though, it will be necessary, as this is very difficult later. Thankfully, we beat the game already, and you can watch my review as a new player on my main channel. We turn on the emergency access and set off the alarm, override it, and kill some more goons. Afterwards, we hunt down Steinman, and thankfully, we already have telekinesis, so we go straight to him and give him a kiss. In return, he gives us his key, allowing us to lead to Neptune's bounty, completing this section in a time of 8 minutes and 15 seconds. We need to find a guy named Peach. So we do. We knock on his door, but he wants a research camera to study people. For some reason. Not my business, so we find it and take some pictures of the locals and head back. He lets us in, and then we blow him up because he's a creep. We then leave to Smuggler's Bay, completing this section in 14 minutes and 5 seconds. We need to track down the control room to release Alice. We find it and pull the lever, but things get a little stuck. Then Andrew sends splicers to kill Atlas, and Atlas tells us to run. We make a break for it, but kill some of the clowns we see along the way. We go and try and rescue Atlas's family, but they kind of blow up. Oh no, buddy. So I guess the deal's off, huh? Bummer. What's that? You want to kill Ryan? You want me to kill Andrew Ryan? Oh. Okay. So we leave towards Arcadia to hunt down Andrew Ryan, completing this section in 3 minutes and 29 seconds. Inside Arcadia, we make a bolt for the metro to leave this place because we are a gamer, and gamers don't touch grass. However, unfortunately, the doorway is blocked, and Andrew Ryan is trying to kill the trees. I guess we need to save them because they give oxygen to Rapture, and if we don't, we'll all die or whatever. So we go to find a scientist named Julie, and she asks us to get her some roses. I guess she doesn't get much attention down here, so that kind of makes sense. We find the roses in return, and what she lets us in. However, she dies. Before she dies, though, she leaves a journal on how to make this vector to heal Arcadia. We just need water, B enzymes, and chlorophyll. We already have the enzymes in the water, we just need chlorophyll. So we kill the local entertainment, which are a bunch of magicians. We take the chlorophyll that they love to get high off of by sniffing and return. We make the vector and heal Arcadia and leave the Fort Frolic, completing Arcadia in 21 minutes and 50 seconds. Now in Fort Frolic, we just need to make it to the metro in order to get to Hephaestus and kill Ryan. We make it to the metro, but it gets stolen, and instead we spend our time with a bozo. He wants us to finish his masterpiece, which consists of a picture of 4 dead guys that we have to kill. The first guy is killed by our boss, Cohen. The second guy we have to kill is Iceman from Top Gun. I guess he went a little crazy. We then have to kill an arsonist, which is kind of funny considering Rapture is underwater. They probably don't have a great escape plan in case of a fire. And finally, we need to kill a local drunk. Returning, we turn in 2 of his pictures, and then he loses confidence, thinking that we believe his masterpiece is ugly, which of course it is, and then he attacks us. After killing his goons, we turn in the final photo, and he comes down the stairs to celebrate. I ignored him and ran to the bathysphere, completing the section in 19 minutes and 50 seconds. Entering Hephaestus, we need to get to Ryan's office, but it's locked by an electric thing. In order to unlock it, we need to get to heat loss monitoring and learn how to override the harmonic core number 3, whatever that means. So we go to heat loss monitoring and listen to a recording of a guy who gave away some deep secrets for a pretty girl. You gave away our nuclear launch codes? But sir, she was pretty. I can't imagine that went well. We go into his workshop to find a bomb that needs some R-34s to get going, which is completely understandable. We get everything we need and come back. We attach the R-34s to the bomb and go to the geothermal core. We use lava to melt water, which seems like a odd safety device just to have. I guess they had the foresight that this place would flood and figure magma, that's the solution. We then go to the core and blow it up and backtrack to Ryan's office, meaning we end this section at 22 minutes and 8 seconds. Inside, we find nothing. Ryan babbles on about how we are his son or something and that we're a disappointment. Blah, blah, blah. He then tried blowing up Rapture, and I guess we need to save it, so we go through the vent and land in his office. On the wall is written the phrase, "Would you kindly?" with a journal nearby. In it, Sushong is talking about how he convinced a kid to kill a puppy through brainwashing using a phrase called, "Would you kindly?" Couldn't be me. We go into Ryan's office, and it turns out that the kid was indeed us, and we are literally a slave. So we kill Ryan and use the key to prevent Rapture from being destroyed. And it turns out that our homie was really an evil mastermind named Fontaine from Fontaine Futuristics, Fontaine Fisheries, Fontaine's Oxygen, Fontaine Center for Kids, and nearly every other business in Rapture. And he tried to kill us. It's clear our homie has gone insane, and now we need to put him down. We then fall down some vents as we're following some little girls as if we're Pennywise, ending the section at 7 minutes and 34 seconds. We wake up in a room with Tenenbaum, and she says that she rearranged our brain to help get rid of the brainwashing, but we need to go to Sushong's office to find the secrets to get rid of the rest. Thanks, Tenenbaum. We leave and make it to Sushong's office, but it turns out he made a cure called Lot 192. Because we already beat the game, we don't need to go to Tenenbaum's apartment. Instead, we go straight to Fontaine's apartment. So we head to Fontaine's crib, grab Lot 192, and cure ourselves. But now we can't control our powers, and we need another dose in order to be fully cured. The other one's in Sushong's medical office place, so we go there and grab the second one, curing ourselves. At this point, we're challenged by Fontaine to face him like a man, so we head that way, making our time for the section 14 minutes and 58 seconds. It's ironic because he challenged us to fight like men, but he spends his time running away like a little wussy. He blocked the doorway to him and thus left us with our one and only option. Permanently change our entire life by putting on a Big Daddy suit, smelling terrible like a Big Daddy, and the kicker, changing our voice box to that of a Big Daddy's, so that way we can lure a little sister to lead us to Fontaine. So of course, we do it without any second thought. We collect all the pheromones in the educational facility, grab the boots from the library, and the rest of the suit from the failsafe, armor, and escorts area. Then, finally, we get our voice changed and optimized eugenics. We then knock on a vent, and a little sister comes out. She leads us through these hallways, being a complete liability with no care for urgency along the way, And finally, it's time to face Fontaine. We head up the elevator, making this section's time 21 minutes and 54 seconds. It's time for Fontaine. In order to beat Fontaine, there are three phases. If you beat him in one phase, you have to then extract the atom from him, starting the second. And he gets more aggressive and gets more help with each wave. The first phase, I set up traps and used a grenade launcher to get rid of most of his health. However, if you don't hit him directly with the grenades, then the grenades will have a delayed explosion, meaning sometimes he wouldn't be hit by it. We got most of his health down and then finished him off with a pistol. In the second wave, we set up more traps and prepared to use our crossbow. The crossbow easily does the most damage besides the explosive shotgun casings or the grenade launcher, so that's mostly what I used. However, there are security bots here, and I used Electrobolt to hack them and use them for extra damage plus a distraction. The final wave was definitely the hardest as I had no help and there were no splicers. I used a combination of some anti-personnel rounds for the machine gun that randomly appeared on the ground and the crossbow to kill him, finishing the challenge with a time of 5 minutes and 6 seconds, making our total time 2 hours, 29 minutes, and 51 seconds, including the load screens, but not including the final cutscene. And finally, unlocking that sweet, sweet I chose the impossible achievement. Thank you for watching this video. Please consider leaving a comment, giving some criticism, and let me know what you liked and didn't like. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button as it helps a lot for a small YouTuber like me to get more views and make it into the algorithm. Also, if you like this content and want to see more, consider subscribing here as well as on my main channel, graysongokrazy. Thank you again for watching.